81 months. 81 months, y'all. Which is a total of 6 years and a little bit of change, with mandatory 2-year prison time, right? Now, here's the problem that I have with that is we have young brothers that's locked up over weed and over attempt and all these different things, and they receive 17, 20, 30, 40 years, right? So this is what they're letting us know, that as long as we don't value our own lives, they won't value it. It's so much deeper than Laquan, but it took Laquan for everyone to see exactly what's going on. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? How's everybody doing? But it took Laquan to really put it on media to show exactly what it is that they feel about us. We have been living in the white justice system forever. This has not brought the light that we living in this messed up justice system. We've been living in a white justice system forever. And it would never be a point until we value each other more than what we portraying to do in our communities. Until we value each other's lives more, then the system definitely not going to value our lives. He's going to do 2 years, and I knew it was coming. Here's the thing about it. When them other 3 officers yesterday was acquitted of all the charges and all the lies that they put forward, when they got acquitted, I knew then that today's sentencing was going to be nothing. It was just going to be a slap on the wrist. Y'all got to understand, they took 4 years to come up with a sentencing. Well, 4 years to convict, and they took this long to come up with a sentencing of 81 months. Let me tell y'all, they want to paint you as dumb and ignorant as you, if you don't know nothing. Black African American people, they want to paint us this way. But they took this long to come up with 81 months. And look at this, y'all. I'm finna tell you something else. In the midst of them sentencing him 81 months, look at what white justice have done. White justice have created, look, they donated, these people donated over $100,000 to his wife, right? Over $100,000, maybe even more. But I know months ago when he first got, when they first did the verdict, I know that he had maybe $114,000 at that point in time when they started to raise money. At that moment then, y'all had to identify then that his life meant more than that black African American brother who he gunned down 16 times. You had to know then that when a family, when they raised $114,000, at that point you should have known that he wasn't going to do too much time. Come on now, when they didn't convict this man of first-degree murder, we should have known then. See, what they did was they calmed the city down and gave us a verdict to keep us calm and keep us at ease, because they knew that if they had came back with a not guilty verdict, then the whole city of Chicago would have been flipped upside down. So what they had to do is they had to calm our spirit and our soul down, because believe it or not, we got all the power, brothers and sisters. What you guys don't understand, we got all the power. So what they had to do, they had to calm everybody down and give a guilty verdict. Because at that moment, we were so upset and we were so angry that we was ready to tear the city down. But they came back with a guilty verdict under second-degree murder, which really was a slap in our face, because they still let us know that, hey, this man still can get off, which he did. Anytime you spend only 2 to 3 years in jail for a murder, you got off. Listen, they were better off saying not guilty to hand this man 81 months. 81 months when the total he could have got was 96 years. But they gave him 81 months. That should let you know how important we are as a people, that we stick together like never before. That should show you, yes, God got everything in the palm of his hands, but he said faith without what is dead. Faith without works. We got to put in the works too, y'all. We can't keep saying that, oh, God, you got all the power, which you do, God. We know it. But God is saying, what works do you have? What works do you have? Are you putting behind to show that all power is to the people? And we got it all. But we ain't putting in no works. We want to sit and we want to continue to say, God got all power. Well, it's time for us to spread the knowledge to our brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's hurting. It's time for us to spread the knowledge to our brothers and sisters and let them know that, hey, at the end of the day, we got all power ourselves, man. And we got to stick together in our community. We got to secure and protect our own children. We can't look for the government to protect us, y'all. I'm just going to be real with you. We can't look for them, the police department, to protect us. We see what kind of job that they're doing at that, and it's not a very good one. So, I'm not knocking the police that's out here, because I have loved ones and close family members that are police. But here's the thing. Now it's time to spread knowledge to our young brothers and sisters that is coming up. Stop putting so much trust. Listen, they want to show you how much control they got. They shut down the government, right? And they got us running around with our head chopped off because we don't know how valuable we are. We don't know how valuable we are. We can't no longer... Listen, exactly, Marcus, if that was a black officer and the roles was reversed, that black officer would have received the maximum penalty, the maximum punishment for the crime that he committed. Come on now, they would have gave him the max year on every count. But because we're living in a white justice system, and this was a white man, then guess what? They gave this man 81 months, which is nothing at all, which is really ridiculous. So I'm just trying to figure out, how is it that we can move now in our community? How is it that we got to maneuver in our community? Because we steady talking about some depending on the votes and getting people in here. But the people that we are getting in here, they not standing up for these things either. So now we got to have our own community where we're building our own polices, our own structure system for our young people, our own jobs and creation system for our people. We can no longer sit back. And allow our young people to be taught that the government, that this system that we live in is just and right. It's not just and right. It's not. We sit and we send our kids to these schools that is teaching them that the system that we go by on a day-to-day basis is just, when it's not. When these public schools are teaching our babies to depend on the system that is actually tearing them down. How is that? How is that? I'm not understanding that. And I'm just at the point where I'm lost, because now it is time as never before. Me being a man of God, me being a pastor, I want to let you guys know it's now time to instruct our young people on the right things to do, on the right moves to go, on how to maneuver things, on how to not always call, not saying, listen, I'm not taking away from the good officers. I'm definitely not. But because of the reputation that they have against with all these bad seeds, then we got to teach our own young people, our own children, that we are our own help. And we got to create our own structure. We got to create our own foundation in order to be able to have some worth of ourselves, because we are worthless. We are worthless. We are worthless to the white justice system that we live in on a day-to-day basis. We say America is free. It's free to everyone but the black and brown people. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's free. The system is just, yes, it's just to all of the people except for the black and brown people. That's what I'm going to tell you. And I stand behind that. Amen. I stand behind that. So it is time now, like never before, for us to teach our own brothers and sisters, our own nieces and nephews, friends, and neighbors. It is time to teach them exactly who is the protector, and that is ourselves, y'all. That is ourselves, y'all. So we no longer gonna sit and allow these schools to teach our babies that this system is for you. It's not. It's designed. Let me tell you what it's designed to do. It's designed to keep you in bondage. It's designed to keep the black people with not knowing much. We're only giving them the minimum. The minimum. It's only designed to give the minimum. And that's sad, my brothers and sisters. It's only designed to keep you in bondage. They give us all these things and think that they're giving us something. They're not giving us anything but allowing us to continue to stay in bondage, continue to follow by their rules and regulations, continue to do things according to how they want it done. And if it's not done that way, then off with your head, or incarceration you go. Incarceration you go. That's exactly what it has come to. The black community has got to learn that we got to stand up more than ever. We got to stand up with each other. We got to stand in the gap. You know, they say that it's the hardest thing is for black people to get along and to stand up for each other. Well, I beg to differ, because I got a lot of black strong people that don't mind standing in the gap for their brothers and sisters. So it's now time that we stand up and we create our own functions in our own community. Don't call on the police, because you see what's going to happen. Let's bring security to our own community. And that means not killing one another, but that means not allowing certain things to come and enter into our community, and we just be all right with it. The city of Chicago should be at an outrage right now. The city, not even just the city of Chicago, the whole country should be at an outrage right now. You know why? Because this is not just happening in Chicago. This is not just happening in Illinois. This is happening all over this country that we so-called great. It's not so great when you have to stand in front of a judge that is not of your color, and that's going to give you the max sentencing. But the young man that's coming that did the same crime that you have committed, stand in front of this same white judge and receive the bare minimum. At some point, it's time for us to police our own community. It's time for us to teach and bring up our own children and let them know that this system that we're living in is not just. It has flaws in it. And until, listen, they want to sit here and they want to say, well, we got to change who's in office now. What has to happen? I'm going to tell y'all something. What has to happen? And I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. What has to happen is all of those old people that is sitting up in the Supreme Court, that is sitting up in these offices, that's been there for 50, 60, 70, man, it's people been in there for 60, 50 years that got the same mindset that they have back in the 50s. So how do you expect anything to change if they have the same mindset? Listen, they not doing for our community. They're not policing our community. Listen at this, y'all. For these young ladies that come up missing in our community, are they giving us a search party? Are they calling out Amber Alerts and closing down our community? The same thing that they would do for these white young ladies that is coming up missing. The moment a white young lady come up missing, guess what happens? They shut down the whole city. Everybody in the communities come out and look and search for these people. But are they doing this for our young black African American women that's coming up missing on a day-to-day basis? No. They can care less if they ever be found. They can care less if they ever be found, because they live by a white justice system, and it's not fair. It's not fair. We want to sit and we want to preach about all these different things. We want to preach and talk about R. Kelly. We want to preach and talk about food stamps. We want to preach and talk about all these other things. Now let's hit the facts of where the facts is at. And that is that we live in a white justice system that is not fair to the black and brown communities. And I'm just going to say it that way. It's not fair to us. It has treated us this way for years and years and years. And what they tend to do is they tend to come out and kind of doctor it up a little bit and make you feel as if you are important. That's what they do. They doctor it up and they make you feel as if it's so important that your life matter. And then once you present it inside of a courtroom, they let you know that, son, your life is worthless to us. We can care less about your daughters that's coming up missing in your community. We can care less about what anybody feel inside of y'all community. We don't care. But we the same people that is going to these stores, shopping day in and day out, spending all of our money to pay these same suckers that's in these offices. We spending all of our money to pay them. We getting taxes taken out to make sure that these people have pay, but we can't even get the right resources in our community. But listen, man, it makes me so mad because they was talking about a job that's about to be done downtown Chicago for $200 million. $200 million. But yet and still, you won't give $200 million to the school system. Yet and still, you won't give $200 million for a recreation center inside of our community. Yet and still, you won't invest money into those things, but you invest money into things that will bring revenue back to your pockets. Come on, my God. Yo, I'm calling out on God, and I'm calling on all of those that have a heart of God, but know that right is right and wrong is wrong. And when you put in a position to have to choose between right and wrong, choose right. Because the way that this system is designing our brothers is designed to keep them on the block. It's designed to keep them incarcerated, and it's designed to keep the cemeteries loaded so they can make money. But here is the thing. Never before do we need God and we need our people to stand up with each other. Never has we needed it more than we do now. So I'm sending for everybody that is watching, if you can share this video, I'm sending out I would like to see. I'm asking that all communities, y'all, stick together and stand up for what's right. And let's build our young brothers back up and let them know that they're valuable in our eyes. This system might be messed up, but they are valuable in our eyes. Let our brothers and sisters, it's our job to be the police. It's our job to be the security for our loved ones. So guess what? Let's create a difference. Let's create a difference. And let's show that regardless of what they think with us, we still able to pull together in times like this. When it's time to be strong, we still able to pull together and link arms and walk together and pray together and uplift each other together. Not caring about what nobody else think, not caring about what nobody else say. It is time for us to link arms again and call on God together and build our own community up. That's why with my ministry, that's what I'm doing. I am investing in businesses so we can uplift our brothers and sisters and get jobs back in our communities, so we can have different amusement in our community. There's no reason why we have to go to other communities to enjoy life, because they have torn down our communities and not putting money back into it. Hey, listen, it's time for us to stand up. I'm standing with you, and I hope you're standing with me. And I won't stop standing until our black people are willing to stand up for each other. I won't stop standing. I won't. It's time to invest back into our communities. It's time to give back to them more than ever, because we can't look for the government to do it. I love each and every last one of you. That sentence was a slap in the face to not just African American, to everybody who wants justice and who is black, brown, purple, pink, yellow. It don't matter what color you is. This should have been a slap in the face to say that a person that commit murder, and not only murder but overkill, a person that commit overkill would be able to only serve 2 years in prison and walk free and be back with his family, while that other family is suffering day in and day out because their loved one is not coming back. I dare you to make a change in your community. I dare you to create a better, stronger foundation in your community for your brothers. I dare you to do that. Step out on God and do it. Write the vision. We shouldn't work for these big companies for all of our lives, making them rich. And yet we still struggle in our community. Let's build up these businesses in our community that can make us rich. That can bring money back into our communities. Let's do that. I love you all. You all be blessed. Have a beautiful day. I know I'm just on 10 right now because I can't even believe it. I can believe it, but to put it in your face and just let us blankly know, because this is what they doing. They blankly letting us know that you mean absolutely nothing to us. And that's how it will stay. Come on, y'all. Let's stick together. Let's rise up like never before. And let's do what God has us to do. And let's build up our community. We are the chosen ones. And it is time for us to move accordingly and to uplift each other. I love y'all. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing you can say that can turn it or twist it or change it. I'm going to love on you in spite of. I love you all. Pastor Williams out. Love you.